Alright, let's talk about the best teams in PvP and its tier list. If you watched my Conrad video before, you know that I haven't done much PvP lately. I've been doing testings, and if you see my rates over here, they're kind of disappointing, but that's just because I was using different teams for attack and defense to test them out. But let's just ignore that this is for the season, so it'll end like next week and it'll reset. But the weekly rankings will reset like on Monday, and I'll go to the upper league. I am in upper league. I'll go to the legend league because I have more than 3,000 points, and I'm focusing on PvP lately, so I'll hopefully go to legend 1 and be one of the top players, and I'll post a video later on hopefully when I get over there. But it'll be tough, especially as a free-to-play gamer. It'll be super hard to compete with other characters, but as you can see over here, my rank is 74 among the all players that we have in the game, top 100, and I'm over here. This is me, Omid, right? And you can see my team, only Lumiere is max dupe. Other teams in the upper league are probably, like, most of them are max dupe, as you can see, and it'll be tough to compete with them, but I'll do my best and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll post a video about that later on. But for now, let's talk about the best teams that we can have in PvP. Alright, this is my main team that I'm using in PvP at the moment, and I'll probably stick to this one unless I have like better characters, and I'm going to give you 5 different teams as well. And it's not in order, so it doesn't mean like this is team number 1 and this is team number 4. No, it's just like, it's not in order, okay? So this will be like one of the best teams in PvP. The meta teams, obviously, with getting new characters, which we don't have, like we don't get new characters very often, unfortunately, but still, when we got these 2 Wizard Kings, this one, and both of them are immune to silence, so maybe this Vanessa won't work exactly as she used to, you know, against these guys, but still, this is a pretty decent team. And just to give you a quick idea of how to use the team, obviously you want to use, when you start the game, depending on how your characters are built, and that's going to be a separate video. If you want, I can make that as well. But for now, depending on your character, Sekra will go first, so you either do the second skill to get the barrier for yourself, or use the ult so that you can total silence one of the enemy's characters, or if your team is silenced, you can use a combine attack to remove silence from Lumiere so that you can attack with Lumiere because he's your main DPS, right? So it depends, right? It depends on the situation. It'll be either of these 3 I just mentioned, and then after that it's going to be Vanessa's turn. And again, it depends. If you want to stun the enemy, you can use a combine attack, and then when you do it with Asta, you stun the enemy, so that way you can get ahead. Or if not, then you can just do the special skill so that you reduce the mobility of the enemy to 0, and they'll attack last. After these 2 is going to be Asta or Lumiere's turn. I mean, the turn that I'm mentioning is based on my own character's build. It might be different, but this is what I'm using, and then you launch this to, you know, lift up defense. And then when it's Lumiere's time, you just go all out with the second skill. Right, the second skill, just go all out and hopefully kill most of the enemies, and then after that you get this mobility, increased mobility buff, so that you can use the special skill, his ult, on one enemy, kill them, and then do the first skill, or if the cooldown of this is gone, you can do again the second skill to launch an attack on the enemy as well, and hopefully finish the game. So this is my first team. These are the meta teams that I'm talking about. This is what I'm using at the moment, and we also have other teams as well. Let's jump to this one. I use this on my Conrad showcase video. Make sure to watch that out. So these 3 would be your main characters over here, and then for the 4th one, most of the teams are like this. The 4th one, the Charlotte, you can either use her, or instead of Charlotte you can use this Vanessa. Where is she? Yeah, this one. And I talked about the reason before. It's best to use Charlotte because she reduces damage taken again on top of Jester for your whole team, and also ignores defense. That's the buff that she has. You can put that on Conrad so that he can deal more damage. And then Charlotte also grants SP for your team. But as I said before, if your Conrad isn't strong enough and dies, because you need to wait 2 turns to launch his ult, if he's not strong enough, you can use Vanessa. And the reason is, with her ult, you can make your Conrad invulnerable. So he won't take any damage, and then you can launch his ult after that. I talked about the skills preset before. I'll just mention it quickly over here. No, not this one. Lift up defense, reduce damage taken with special skill of Jester. And then if it's either Charlotte or Vanessa, doesn't matter, special skill on Conrad. And then you do the combined attack of Sully with Conrad so that you can gain keys, and then when it's Conrad's turn you do this the second skill to again gain keys, and then after that second turn you just do normal attack, and then over here you'll do this one to extend the buffs duration and also increase magic attack and everything, and then you just launch the ult. That's basically how it goes. So it doesn't matter if it's Vanessa or Charlotte. I prefer Charlotte because it's more balanced, as I mentioned. But again, if your Conrad isn't strong enough, you can still use this Vanessa. Alright, let's talk about the other teams. The other one would be this. This is also a pretty good team. Not as good as others, to be honest, but still. The only reason that this is good is with Fugo. Like Magna used to be really good as well before with his stun. But since we have Jester to immune everyone, and a lot of people are using Jester, so this might be a little bit tricky. Depends on the enemy's team. But if you're attacking, for example, this team, obviously this could help. It's really hard to counter this with the Lumiere team. It's just based on your character. So I have to mention this as well. Like the characters that you have, doesn't matter if you're putting who in this spot. The character's build is really important, and also their level and everything else. Fugo could be super useful, but only when he's max duped. Okay, so he goes nuts and crazy when doing PvP, but only if he's max dupe, because he heals, he does counter attack AoE on everyone, and deals lots of damage. But anyway, this team is also good because with Fugo you inflict burn, and then with Magna obviously scales up with his special skill that increases damage dealt based on the number of burn that enemy is taking. So this is also a fun team to play. I'm not using this team at all. I've used Fugo before with another team with Kaiser to counter attack. You can also use Kaiser over here instead of Magna if you want to, or instead of like Mimosa. But yeah, this is also a team that I'm seeing a lot, and it's kind of hard if you like to go against this team if you have them all maxed out. And instead of Mimosa, as I said, you can use Kaiser, the other Mimosa. Now let's move on to the fourth team. This is like a mono blue team. So we had mono green before, like with Yuno, with Mereoleona, this one, Charlotte, but it's not useful anymore. Like the mono green team is good for lower league probably, but not in upper league. We also had a mono red team with Asta, Witch Queen, Dorothy, and who else? I don't remember. Maybe Finral, or there was someone else. I don't remember, to be honest. But yeah, that was also a good mono red team, especially with the passive of the Witch Queen and also the anti-magic of Asta. But the mono blue team would be better than the other two. So if you want to go mono blue, this is also a good one. Obviously Raya will be your main DPS, and then you have Jester, lift up defense, Kaiser, lift up defense, and then Sekre for the barrier, everyone to support Raya. And then we also have Kaiser to do the counter attack of Raya, and you have to build Raya based on counter attack and also crit rate so that he can deal the most damage. Again, if you don't have Raya, you can also use Julius instead of Raya as your main DPS. And other than these characters, if you want to do other blue characters in your team, you can also use this Zora, maybe instead of Kaiser. If you're going with Julius instead of Kaiser, you can also use Zora, so that with his insane ult that reduces, where is it, here, reflects 300% of the attack on the person to the enemy, and also increases defense by 245. This is insane. This is like crazy. I really like Zora. I've mentioned this many times. He's one of my favorite characters, but sadly it's hard to do a meta team with him. And having said that, this is a really great meta team, so you can also go with this one or the Raya and Kaiser, as I mentioned. And last but definitely not least, let's move on to this meta team again. So the black divider, purple attacker Asta, and defender Valkyrie Noelle. So this is also crazy. Like, this is an insane team. I think this would be the best team in the game, like the best meta team in the game, in my opinion. Again, it depends on your characters, how they're maxed up. So if you have Asta, this one, max dupe, and also with his skill page max dupe, you'll be unstoppable. Okay, like that's a guarantee. You can go against every other team. But yeah, so like that's true like 99%. Again, it depends on the situation, on also the build of your character, but this is also a great team. So you have Asta and Noelle to support each other. She makes him invulnerable, and then you can go all out with your Asta. And then also William, the supporter one, buffs up Asta's attack and speed. And then here you can have Vanessa again to make Asta invulnerable, or instead of Vanessa you can have this Charlotte again to lift up defense and like reduce damage taken, and also ignore defense of when attacking enemy for Asta. So, or you can use like a healer, Mimosa, either this one or the other one. That would be also something crazy to have in this team. And yeah, those are the 5 teams that I mentioned. But just to give you a quick note in the end, again, it depends on the situation. I mostly use this team, sometimes this one, but mainly this team. And the reason is that my top characters, my top units in the game are Lumiere and Asta. And also, as I said, this one, because again, these are my also top characters. So these 4 are my top characters over here with the power, as you can see. And that's why I'm using this team. It totally depends on what characters you have, what level they are, and what's the build on them, and what's the power on them. So go based on that. Those are the optimal and the ideal characters and teams that I mentioned. But obviously, if you don't have them, then go for whoever you have, max them out, and try to like use different combinations and see how they work with each other. But I gave you 5 teams with different characters. Try to focus on 1 or 2, because if you only have 1 team, you can still join the upper leagues and like the higher levels. And I'll probably make a video later on when I reach the top levels in the game. As I said, just focus on 1 team or max 2, so like 4, 8 characters, and then build them up as high and as much as you can, and then just enjoy the game. Yeah, that's it. I'll try to make videos about different characters and at their build later on as well. If you need to, if you want to, just let me know which character you need to build more, like this Asta, or any other characters. I know I have Lumiere in my channel, and also this Wizard King, Julius, but I'll try to make others as well. And yeah, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comment section what are your thoughts, and if you have any suggestions or any recommendations, let me know, or any other teams. Okay, write down in the comment section, and then we'll try to figure them out as well. Till next video, have fun and stay tuned.